Alright, today we're going to play with radiation detectors, specifically Radiacode. This is a 103 that was kindly given to me from Radiacode. Apparently they're sending me a 110 soon with all the accessories. That'll be interesting. Now, one thing I've always wanted to do with these is strap them to a drone and do aerial mapping. The problem we've got is the GPS is not in this. It uses the GPS on the phone's app to handle how it does all the logging. Now, you can strap one of these and a phone with it onto a drone and fly around, or a little Android watch, but it gets a little heavy. Your flight time gets a bit limited. So I have an idea of strapping a little microcontroller on here and sticking a little light sensor on the flashes here, so that when it detects something, it can log that along with GPS coordinates. This is an example of another counter that I have. This weighs about 6 times more than the drone does. Not an option. Not very sensitive. I have a couple other bits and bobs in here. Like I have this old Radex here. Again, it's not really good. It doesn't have a flashing light on it. Not really good for doing what I need to do. And it's a Geiger tube type, not a scintillation like that. Now, for the record, these things use little scintillation crystal, a little bit like this, and it flashes when it's exposed to radiation. And that flash gives you an idea of the intensity and therefore the energy level of that particular particle, which is good for doing spectrums. But in this case, we want to do aerial surveys. So we're going to find a way to attach this to my drone. Alright, we have a pelican case here with my drone. Now, my lifting job is going to be the Air 2S, mostly because I've got some spare batteries with this. This does alright, and I've had it used with a dropping attachment. Now, I need to point out that some years ago I did, for this specific project, I did actually, I made my own counter from scratch that did GPS logging and everything, and it was a huge unit and it had a whole bunch of AA batteries in it. It worked, but I had to walk around with it. So now this thing, the problem we're going to have here, it's got a LiDAR sensor on the bottom here, and 2 cameras for proximity and a light under there. We also have front and upper proximity sensing cameras and a rear one. So really the safe spot to hide things is off the side like this, but I like to keep the weight central. So we might be sticking it between its eyes up the top here. I'm not sure what the detection range is. We might try and pack things on top of the battery like that.
20 minutes later.
Right, so after about 10 minutes, we have here a bunch of different designs. So this is a 2-part clip that should be able to sit over the top of the drone, on top of this, sit on top of the battery, hang down the side with a clip with a couple of screws that I can screw in on the bottom.
A few moments later.
And we cut some acrylic ones. Had some scrap, which means the acrylic's a little bit dirty in some places. But we got some bits of it still had the original backing on it. We'll clean these up and I'll do a test fit. Our bracket is on, and you can see I've used a couple of standoffs here. I had to use the longer screws and stuff to get it in there, but you can get a pair of pliers in there and you tighten it up using the standoffs. This is a little bit loose on the top here, but that's okay. I plan to use blue tack like this and a little bit under each end, which will stop it sliding off. Or I could, in the next iteration, drop this top bit down just a little bit, but we have a carrier to hold it there, and it should hold it in amongst all orientations nicely. And it also sits free of the cameras, and it's transparent, so it shouldn't affect them too much. I don't know how badly that'll do it, but I'll have to fly it and see. But yeah, we have a prototype here, and the 2 stops it racking up and down. It's at this point I posted just a little bit of my project on the Radiacode Facebook page, and it exploded with comments with everybody saying, this won't work, you can't do that, it'll block the GPS, why are you doing this, you're an idiot. So it did kind of remind me of why I don't do Facebook anymore, but you know, I figured I'm going to have to take it for a test flight. So that's where we're going now. Let's see how much this weighs. 16.9 grams. Okay, it could be lighter, but it's not too bad. Alright, So now I've just got to wait for a bunch of stuff to come from China, and the Radiacode 110 is it's come out of Cyprus. It's in the French Republic at the moment. We might see it by Friday the 27th.
The next morning.
Okay, so during the course of my usual sort of testing the waters and talking to my peers and stuff, I posted this on a Facebook group. And of course, Facebook, true to form, all the critics have come out. So everybody's going, who mounts this on the top? Oh, it's going to block the GPS. It's going to cause forced landings. It's going to interfere. Yeah, okay, and why don't you hang it underneath? Well, I have proximity sensors under there that are kind of important to takeoff and landing. I could hang it off a drone dropper, but then it swings around everywhere and screws up my accuracy as well. I am only looking to get Gamma to generally pick up a hotspot so I can go out on foot, which saves me from taking something that is vastly more expensive on diesel at the moment when it's presently $3 a litre. I can identify a hotspot really quick and go out and do a spectrum on it later. Okay, so I'm going to have to block out location, but let's see if we can get GPS signal. It's our first concern. We'll plonk us up here. Now, we can turn on our radio code. It's now on. Let's just sit and let it do some measurements first and settle down. I need to turn volume up so I can hear notifications. We currently have 11 satellites, which is doing okay. Normally I get about 20 or so on a good day. Now, radio code normally shows 0.05 as background radiation here. It's settling on about 0.08 at the moment. But that is not outside the realm of normality until it settles down and gets the averages worked out. Alright, we have 15 satellites, which gives us the ability to take off. Should be doing okay. 17 satellites, so I guess the radio code's not interfering with it at all. Check. Prop check. Let's take off.
Takeoff. Home point updated.
So far no problem with the balance. Eighteen satellites are holding stable. We're holding balance nicely. I think we're doing okay. 19 satellites we're gaining, so that's not a huge issue. Let's take it for a bit of a fly. Seems to be balancing nicely. Doing okay here. Alright. 20 satellites, we're gaining okay. So let's try landing then. We'll have to dodge these power lines though. Camera's a bit deceptive on this. Forward a bit. Rotatey. Pull the gimbal up. See me standing here in all my barefoot glory. How you doing, guys? Let's land you.
Landing.
Forced landing. Okay, let's shut the props down. Okay, and our background radiation is 0.05. We're doing alright.
3 weeks later.
Alright, so I've been slaving over 3 different AIs and Arduino and stuff for an entire day here. And I've made some success with this little LoRa GPS tracker thing here. And I've got it actually, the biggest problem with this was getting the display to work. Something was not right with the documentation, taking me all night to make that work. Now I'm using my ESP32 cheap yellow display to do Bluetooth sniffing. And I think I've just got the Radiacode coming up in here. It's beaconing, and I've got the MAC address, which is what I need to do to enter into the code. We'll see if it works.
1 eternity later.
Right, so I added, it wasn't actually scanning, so I turned my 101 on, made a code iteration, and now it's found the 101. Which definitely means it is scanning for it because I never entered that code in here. We're going to get a Bluetooth pairing. It says Bluetooth's on. it paired with Bluetooth with a serial number, and it's showing counts per second. We have success. It's showing it. It's not calculating microsieverts per hour, right? But it's still giving me counts per second. Right, let's find a test source and see if that goes up. Fortunately, I'm in the middle of doing some promotional videos, so let's just sit this on top of a pile of uranium glass here and see if our counts per second goes up. Well, it is, and it's increasing. It says 6.4. Let's zoom in. It's going up. It's going up. It's actually reading over Bluetooth. It's working. DankPod style. This nugget's working. Now, it is worth explaining for a minute why I'm getting so excited about this. This sort of programming is stuff that in my era was like reserved for the absolute elite. Like there was no chance I was ever going to do this, not without spending thousands of dollars of training. So it's pretty crazy that this stuff actually bloody works. So we're going to fire up all three of these. We're going to restart this. See if it detects them all. See what we find. Oh, it's found all three of them. So the 103, the 110 and the 101. So let's see. Can we scroll through the menu? We can. Let's go through the 103. Let's long press on that. See if it connects to the 103. It does. It connects to the 103. Now, which one's complaining about the level? So I think it's you, and that's... Okay, let's put our 103 over by the uranium glass here. See if the count goes up. Here's the count going to go up. Should go up significantly. Let's put it over inside that one. That should bring it up a lot more. Alright, so it is reading from the 103. And it's unhappy with me. Alright, we have a major step forward in making this work. Okay, so another pretty much entire day later. I've got to clean this screen up. I do have it doing satellite. I've got the SD card adapter connected. I've got it reading that the SD card's there. Power's connected with a couple of these little extra lines. Bluetooth's working. I haven't got it logging because I haven't got it to do a satellite fix. We're now going to add the battery, which with little lipos I do it one lead at a time because reasons. And we're going to plug this in and see if it works. Alright, tweezers for the win. And it's going to fire up and see if it connects to... It does, it connects to the device. And it's going to come and search Sky. So we're going to leave this run on battery, see what it does outside. Alright, I've got some American grade redactions going on here, but we can see that it is actually working. There are GPS coordinates coming up under that actually work. Even inside, I now have 12 or 13 satellites, SD cards detected, radio codes on, reading the correct counts per second and microsieverts per hour. We will see if it actually logged to the SD card now. I went for a quick walk. Alright, now we go for a walk with these two in hand. See if we can get a log, see if it's formatted the right way, make sure everything's happening right. So I better put my thumb over this. So we have a properly formatted log file. I've just pulled it out and it looks to be pretty much right. I won't show you the actual log file, it's full of coordinates, but it's looking good. And we have a visitor. Alright, I've got this zoomed in so you can't see coordinates, but a quick little test on here, walking around, the points do correlate. So GPS is working, it's logging right, this could work. Alright, progressing forward. I couldn't get Autodesk Inventor working, so I decided to suck it up and use Fusion 360. Sort of came out with a box. It's like Fusion 360 is like they took all the slow bits of Autodesk and AutoCAD, put them in one program and forgot all the fast bits. Anyway, that rant aside, we're now making a case, or at least the bottom half of the case, out of whatever I had loaded up, which is fluoro green filament. That's fine, and we'll laser cut with a little 2mm acrylic cap. Alright, we're back with a pile of pieces that are all falling off the bench. Fortunately, I cut spares. And people ask me, why don't I just 3D print things when I laser cut them? I've had the opportunity to make 3 complete screw-ups, and that thing's barely even 30% printed. Right, this gives you a little bit of an idea how the buttons are meant to operate. I should be able to wake it up by doing this. And we'll have a white light that's going to flash till it finds a GPS sync. In both memories now, we should be able to hold the button for 5 seconds, which the white light now gives us a count. There we go. Right, 3D print's done. Okay, can we peel it off the bed? We can. Hairspray for the win. So, definitely have a GPS lock. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's showing coordinates, so the flashing light works now. Battery percentage does not, though. Now, excuse the air noise in the background. I had to turn the air conditioning on. Now, this solution for pinning is not perfect. It's the first ever time I've tried it, and I probably really needed balls twice as thick. But I wanted this to be very, very thin and small. I probably need to go around the edge of this and take the sharp edge off. But it works, and we can power it up now. And we can unplug that. We can let it fire up. We can see everything that's going on. The antenna doesn't quite line up. We'll work on it. But we've got a bit to go yet. I think I finally got it working. Got a Radiacode 110. We can pick our 110, push and hold for 3 seconds. It should pair. And I've got some American grade redaction going on here for the coordinates because this is getting a signal lock even indoors. I've pinned it together with some dressmaker's pins. I'm going to fly this bare bones. This is just to keep it protected for the week until I can actually fly it. But later on, it's probably going to stay in a case like this. Alright, that's where I'm going to stop this video because there's just not enough time and I don't get enough watch time in these videos to do the whole thing in one go. So I'll do a separate video where we actually go for a fly and I go over the logging and all that sort of stuff. Now, in the comments, I'm going to try and leave some links to some code. I will try and post that on my website and links to the videos and stuff like that. I've got a lot on the plate right now, so if it's not there right away, hit me up in the comments, give me a reminder, I'll find it for you. A lot of people are interested in this. I have also collaborated with radiamaps.com, which is part of what this project's going to be using. Radiacode have been really wonderful to me and sent me lots of stuff. They're also sponsoring me. So they get their sticker up here as well. So keep in mind all that stuff. My code, I have definitely done some top tier vibe coding in this. Used AI a lot because of all the programming codes I know well, C++ and Python and all of that stuff is not one of them. I do know how to check my code and make some alterations, but for this upper level stuff, not as easy to do. So I will leave the code for future people coming after me to work on it. Radiamaps is also working on their own version that works on even more lightweight controllers. So definitely check them out. Go over to radiamaps.com. I'll leave a link to their Discord below too. It's a wonderful project. I've kind of fallen down that rabbit hole as well. So yeah, we'll see how it flies. This is obviously going to be a point of contention with people. There's going to be probably some differences of opinions, and horses for courses, different uses for different use cases. So this was designed for a specific use for a single thing. If it's useful for other stuff, it might work for that later. I do have a video coming up where I'm going around Fisherman's Bend in Melbourne, and this might actually be easier to log those recordings than the official app. So we'll see you there. I hope it was a good video. Discuss in the comments, I guess. See you later, and jump on the subscribe if you want to see the next part.